Hey there, Internet. So I'm doing a test of live streaming today using the Insta360 Nano. I'm recording at 2M 960p 15 frames per second. I don't know if that's the best live streaming mode, but we're testing it out with this camera today. I'm also going to be trying to do a weekly segment every Monday where I answer your questions live in 360 VR. I tried to do this about a week ago and it failed because I didn't write the questions down, and I was like having to go on Facebook and my email to pull up these questions. Today I've planned ahead. I've written some questions down here so I can read off these questions and answer them. And yeah, it just seemed like a great way to test this function out. I don't really know a lot about live streaming in 360 right now. I'm hoping by doing a weekly video in live stream 360 I can learn a lot more about it and what the best modes are. And yeah, it just seemed like a fun thing to do. So anyway, and I also get lots of junk mail. So, well, not junk mail. I get lots of email questions that I feel like it's the same question over and over again. So I feel by posting it online, I can answer the question. If I ever get the question again, I can just refer back to this video, or I can refer people who ask me new questions to videos and try and answer them like that. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let me start off with the first question. This first question comes from Ashton N. in Florida. What is your current favorite 360 camera on the market right now? Right now, it's the one I'm shooting with, actually, the Insta360 Nano. It's a cute little 360 camera that you can just pop on your iPhone. You can also use it independently of your iPhone by just clicking on the button. So I've been recording a lot of my most recent daily videos in, daily vlogs in. It's just really easy to use. It auto stitches. You can quickly pop out the micro SD card and put that in your computer and download that footage, and you're ready to start editing. So for someone who's trying to do something daily and timely, it is a great tool to have. It also only costs $200. It comes with a nice little case that you can put it inside of. And yeah, I've dropped it a couple times. It hasn't scratched. Marlo knows he's not supposed to go on the couch. Go. No, no, back off the couch. Back off the couch. Here's what I've been using for Marlo. Claw withdrawal. I just shake it and he knows. He runs away. So yeah, that's been my favorite camera that's out right now. That being said, there are a lot of other cool cameras coming on the market that are going to do auto stitching in the next couple months, including Insta360's 8K camera, Kodak Pix Pro's 4K res Orbit camera. This is a great little auto stitching camera that's very tiny. You can fit in your pocket. You also don't need to have your cell phone out to use it and see what it looks like. But I don't know, there's something just special about the Insta360 Nano. I bought it and started using it right away the night I got it. I filmed the Milo protest, and it's great for filming sort of protests or things where you're trying to be a little bit more incognito in public. It's tiny, it's small, it just attaches to your iPhone. I'm sure you're going to see it all over this year. It's becoming quite a popular product. And yeah. Anyway, so yeah, and they also sell it in different colors. Like I noticed today they sell a gold one. I have the silver one. Battery life is pretty good, and yeah, it works pretty easily, and the auto stitch feature is amazing. You can see if you watch my hand right here on the side, that's how it auto stitches. I'm right in that stitch zone. So you see my fingers are sort of starting to disappear there, but it's not bad. The further away you get, the better it gets. But it's a pretty amazing camera for the price, $200. I remember early Theta cameras were around that same price, and the quality wasn't great. This is a 3K resolution camera. I think it's pretty good quality for the price. And once again, if you break it, you're not breaking the bank. So it's got a lot of benefits. Alright, on to my next question. This one comes from Nick C. in Connecticut. What is your favorite tripod to use when filming 360? So I really like Freedom 360's tripod, this Ninja nodulal thing. It can reach the ceiling. You can put weights on the bottom of it. It also has these small legs, so it doesn't leave a big footprint in terms of a tripod when you're stitching and trying to clean that up. The weights also help out because if someone bumps into it, it's not going to knock over. I can't really say great things about this company, though. The guy who runs the company is kind of a jerk. Not going to lie, we've had some feuds in the past, but they do make an amazing tripod, monopod, so I highly recommend them. However, that tripod costs around $800, $800, depending how many different parts and pieces you get with it. Meanwhile, you can get a pretty good quality tripod, monopod for around 30 bucks. If you shoot for a light stand, your legs are going to be long, but it's still going to work, and it's how I started, doing things originally. I also have this other one that folds up and collapses pretty well. It works great. Has a very small footprint, but every time my hands get caught because the legs fold into this thing, and I always end up getting like my fingers pinched from it, and it kind of sucks. So I like that one for the convenience factor, but yeah. One of the things with 360 tripods you're going to notice is that people don't seem to notice them because the legs are smaller. The cameras, if you have a small camera on there like the Kodak, people don't tend to notice it. So it's good to get weights and to weigh it down. If you have one of the cheaper, $30 tripods, I would suggest buying a donut weight online and filling that with sand and then putting that over the legs. That has always helped me out from having it knock over in windy situations. So yeah, that's my recommendation on tripods. Freedom 360, or just find any random one on Amazon for lights, and those are pretty good. Alright, next question. This one comes from Jessica C. in Washington. I'm curious about shooting a 360 time-lapse for 3 months while huge construction is done on this warehouse where I work. Any recommendations or tips on how to shoot a time-lapse that long in 360? So my recommendation would be film a time-lapse a day using the Kodak cameras. You can shoot for extremely long with them if you use an external battery and you plug it in underneath. The batteries that I personally like to use that have lasted a really long time, and once again, you could use any type of battery you want, but I really like these XT power batteries here. You can actually push the button and it'll tell you how much battery life you have. You see this one's only half charged. That's my recommendation. I have a friend, Forrest, who's done time lapses for several months in Colorado River area with snow and this and that. He made his own time-lapse camera and rigged it up to a car battery. So car battery, definitely better than those batteries. That being said, not a lot of people know how to rig a camera to a car battery. And he just left those cameras out in the middle of the wilderness, so hopefully no one stole them from him. So that's sort of, something that you got to deal with and think about in terms of how you want to accomplish it. I would recommend the Kodaks, and just make sure you have whatever area you're shooting in, you have it locked off on a tripod, and then I just switch out the memory cards every couple weeks, and I would shoot it in time-lapse mode. But that's how I would do it. It's, I don't know. It's tricky. It's a good question. Alright, next question we got. This one comes from John S. in Florida. What are your thoughts on the ZCam S1? I notice you have it, but you don't shoot with it very often. Alright, so I love the ZCam for low light level situations. It's great for that. I'll bust it out for you just so you guys have a frame of reference. You can actually see what I'm talking about here. Oh, can I get it one-handed? It's the challenge of doing live streaming. So I might even put it up on this one and turn on, open this up a little bit more, get some more light in here. It's kind of getting blown out before. Alright, so let's take a look. Here we have the ZCam S1. So I kind of finagled this thing on here. This is the lens cap that comes with it. And you see I just sort of put a lens cloth around it to make it extra safe. Here's the camera. You can see you have 4 different lenses on there. Maybe if I do it from the single, you can see the 4 different lenses on there, and each one of these has a different memory card slot that corresponds to it. I personally use these 128 gigabyte cards on here because that's the highest card capacity that you can use with the camera. That being said, I haven't done a whole lot of testing with the camera. I have come up with a whole way of battery operating it that is a bit better than the battery system that came with the camera. That being said, I'm still sort of playing around and testing it out and seeing what I like about it and what I don't like about it. What I can tell you right off the bat, the things I don't like about it, it takes a long time to stitch the footage. You have 4 cameras that can shoot up to 6K resolution, and the more lenses, the more cameras you have, the more time it's going to take in post-production, which is why I traditionally have really enjoyed the Kodak Pix Pro dual camera, which, as you can see here, you have one of, and then a second one, and they just go together, and it makes it a little bit easier because you don't have to stitch so much footage before seeing your take. You don't have to spend so much time in post. That being said, this camera can do 60 frames at 4K resolution. It can do 6K res. It can do a lot of things those other cameras can't. So it all really depends on what you're using it for, what your client wants out of it. I haven't really had a lot of luck with the WonderStitch software. Initially, I was told it would be available for Mac, and they currently do not have a Mac software available for it yet. So I spent $750 for software, auto stitching software, which it's not auto stitching, hasn't done it yet. It also, they made the claim that it does live streaming. I haven't tested live streaming with it yet either. These are all things that I would really like to do, but right now I'm concentrating on the Insta360 cameras, which I feel make the live streaming aspect much easier. You don't need to spend all this extra money on Teradek and Sphere and these other things to live stream. So that's the reason I bought that camera, is for live streaming, slow-mo, and to do longer time lapses. I was told that the camera would shoot continuously and not break it up into 10-minute clips like you get with the GoPros and with the Kodaks. That has not been the case with this camera. It does break it up into 10-minute clips, which I hate. I want to shoot like a 30-minute time lapse and just stitch all 4 cameras at 30 minutes, put it all together. Instead, I have to take each time it breaks up the clip every 10 minutes and then put that all into one clip, and then do that for each of the lenses and then stitch it together. Creates so much extra work, and it's really not the reason I bought the camera. So I'm actually quite upset with ZCam right now, being very blunt and honest about it, and I might be selling the camera in the next couple months, depending, if I can figure out some of these bugs, if they come out with Mac software, etc. Because really it has not been the best experience. And one thing that I could recommend is really look into the companies that you're buying from. Look at their website, look at their marketing presence. Do they have a Twitter account? Because a lot of smaller companies are popping up that do 360 or claim to do 360, and then they end up non-existent in a couple months. So I would say look at big camera companies that are doing really great things, like Kodak, for instance, doing amazing things, Samsung doing great stuff, Ricoh was doing amazing things with the Theta initially, Nikon. These are big brand name companies. Insta360 has now become like a brand name for me and a lot of other people because they're pushing so much into marketing, and they had a huge presence at CES. So I would say that's more where I'm leaning. That being said, the ZCam, could be amazing with a couple of firmware updates and some actual stitching software for the Mac made available. I would really like to do some tests with live streaming with it, and maybe we'll do that on this channel coming up in the next coming weeks. Alright, next question. We have Carol K. You have a ZCam and a Kodak, but what do you think about the WhoBlow camera? WhoBlow camera is another camera which claims to do live streaming and does 3D. I'd say it's a good live streaming camera from what I've heard. It was recently, sorry about that. They recently teamed up with Samsung for Mobile World Conference, and Samsung allowed them to live stream from their booth. So it kind of said two things. A, Samsung doesn't have a camera available yet that can live stream and do it well. And B, it shows that they're a major player that can team up with big companies like Samsung possibly in the future. So that's my take on that camera. It looks very interesting. It kind of looks like a weird box thing. So I don't like how it looks, but I'm not going to judge a book based on its cover or a camera based on its lenses and things like that. All right, next question. We got Glenn A. from California. 1. When will the Orbit be available? And 2. For a prosumer, do you still opt for the dual Kodaks? From what I understand, the Orbit will be available to most customers, most 360 users, in April. You know, so you got a month to decide on this camera. I think it has major improvements on the dual camera in terms of the stitching. You have the two lenses closer together, which is huge, but in terms of prosumer versus consumer, everyone at Kodak said that the Orbit is the consumer version. It is only $500, whereas the dual cameras cost a little bit more than that. They're around $700, $800, $600. I don't know, depending where you buy them on Amazon from Kodak. But those cameras are still infinitely better because you can put them underwater. You can attach them to a drone. You can do all these things that maybe the Orbit camera you'll be able to do eventually. But in terms of drone footage, all you can really do is put it on top of a drone and you still have the drone there. With the two, you can put one on top, one on bottom of the drone, actually stitch out the drone. So I'm still very much feel like the dual Kodaks are a camera worth investing in, a great beginner 360 camera, a great consumer, prosumer 360 camera. That being said, the Orbit does an amazing job too. I think of it though more as like a backup camera, a secondary, a B-roll camera. I might use it to get some shots in time lapse and then have them be auto stitched, take care of a little work for me. I might use it, you know, as a secondary camera, put it on a helmet or something. So I definitely am a huge fan of the Orbit. I was excited to help premiere it with Kodak at CES. That being said, I still think the dual camera is the better camera that they make, and I would be excited to see if they make another update from there. Marlo, back up. Okay, next question we got Kevin S. from the UK. Any news on Orbit, especially when we might get it in the UK? I don't know, guys. I don't work for Kodak. That's Kevin Cruz. You're getting me confused. I would just suggest that if you're curious about it, pre-order it online. They have a very good return policy. If it's something that you don't like or you see defects with it, you should be able to return it. But I would pre-order it because the thing is going to sell out fast. It's a popular product for them. It's like the Nintendo Switch. You know, you can't get the Nintendo Switch now. You gotta wait several weeks, but if you had gone a month prior and pre-ordered, you'd have it right now, and you wouldn't be sitting around like I am saying, "Where's my Nintendo Switch?" Okay, final question of the day, and then I'm gonna sign off of this live stream. I'm sorry I haven't checked any of the ones on Twitter. I'm sure I'm not getting a lot of questions on Twitter, but if you do have a question for me, remember you can always write to me on Twitter. You can send me a message on Facebook. You can email me at k@kevincoons.com, or you can write a comment underneath this YouTube video, and I'll try and answer it for next week. Final question of the week goes to Ben H. Have you ever tried to turn your like an RV car into a 360 dolly? I have not, Ben. I've seen a lot of videos and clips online from people that have done it. Looks awesome. It's something I'm thinking about doing with my Kodaks. I have done it on my electric skateboard quite unsuccessfully. But yeah, it's definitely a possibility in the near future. I sort of got the drone, the Mavic drone, to sort of do dolly shots, but I'm always thinking about other ways that I can get smoother dolly shots and things like that. So anyway, thank you so much for the questions. Please subscribe and check out some of my other 360 videos. And on that note, Marlo, I think, wants some cuddle time or something. And, oh, stepping right in the crotch. And I'm going to get going. But thank you so much for watching. And remember to subscribe and ask lots of questions. And yeah, this is my test at doing a 20-minute video and live 360. Maybe next week I'll do 30 minutes or 40 minutes, just trying to push it to the maximum to see how long I can actually stream for using the Insta360 Nano. Alright, time to get going. Talk to you later.